and welcome to this hopefully my computer won't crash again episode of Wake and Bake News with your host Shampoo VTA, who's desperately trying to keep this stupid thing from crashing. Oh, we've had all kinds of disk dump and disk checking going on this morning, all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to eat my vegetarian burrito here. Purchased yesterday. Frozen vegetarian burrito. Everything disappears off the screen. This technology thing. It's amazing. Okay. Here's Anthony Bourdain smoking a bowl. I love that guy. So cool. Wish he wasn't on CNN. Not into CNN. Alright, go to the first story. No, you passed it because you're too excited about yourself. Get that out of there because that makes stuff crash. Okay, where'd you go? Where'd everybody go? Now we go. Just gonna juice this morning, but I woke up late. So store-bought juice again. Green machine. Alright. Let's begin first with a hit. I'm like in a hurry because I was doing it and I was like on a roll reading and then boop! Crash. So frustrating. It's like my last bowl. Luckily, I only took one hit. I think it's going to be a strategy of mine. Take a hit, go through this, save a bowl just in case it all screws up. You know. Now my pot smoking is having to, be around the way technology works. Is it going to work? Is it going to be there? Is it not going to be there for me? A little annoying. Oh, and I was going to say, I think I might have, my husband went and researched the issue with my sound, and he said to go here to encoding. He found out from somebody on the internet and changed the format from 48 kilohertz to 44.1 kilohertz, and that might help with some of the audio cutting out issues. So we'll see if that helps. So I did that. British actor Jonathan Hurt diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, which is like super sad. Super sad. No. Get your ugliness out of my face. I think this one has some kind of ad that plays. So I'm going to mute it for now so we don't have to listen to anyone else talk that is not invited. British actor John Hurt announced Tuesday that he has been diagnosed with early-stage pancreatic cancer, and he continues to be more than optimistic in spite of the potentially deadly disease. I have always been open about the way in which I conduct my life, and in that spirit, I would like to make this statement. Hurt said in a statement released to the British Press Association. I have recently been diagnosed with early-stage pancreatic cancer. I am undergoing treatment and am more than optimistic about the satisfactory outcome, as indeed is the medical team. The actor, who was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II last year, allowed positivity to ring through his announcement as he promised to continue working during treatment, and that in one of life's small ironies, he will be soon to star in a play, Geoffrey Bernard is Unwell, on BBC Radio. So that's like really sad that he has pancreatic cancer. Sorry to hear that. No, Colorado, no. I think there's a story somewhere out there about a supervisor or a mayor or something back east in a town that it's been revealed that they're using marijuana for their Crohn's disease, and now there's a big, issue about it. So I think that's why this story has appeared. Smoking marijuana marijuana causes complete remission of Crohn's disease. No side effects, new study shows. Marijuana, scientific name cannabis, performed like a champ in the first ever placebo-controlled trial of the drug to treat Crohn's disease, also known as inflammatory bowel disease. The disease of the digestive tract affects 400,000 to 600,000 people in North America alone, causing abdominal pain, diarrhea, which can be bloody, severe vomiting, weight loss, as well as secondary skin rashes, arthritis, inflammation of the eye, tenderness, and lack of concentration. Smoking pot caused a complete remission of Crohn's disease compared to placebos in half the patients who lit up for 8 weeks, according to clinical trial data to be published in the journals Clinical, I can't read that, research at the Israel Meir Medical Center took 21 people with intractable severe Crohn's disease and gave 11 of them 2 joints a day for 8 weeks. The standardized cannabis cigarette contained 23% THC and 5% CBD, cannabinol. Such marijuana is available on dispensary shelves in San Francisco and Oakland and other cities that have regulated access to the drug. The other 10 subjects smoked placebo cigarettes containing no active cannabinoid. Investigators reported that smoking weed caused a complete remission of Crohn's disease in 5 of the 11 subjects. Another 5 of the 11 test subjects saw their Crohn's disease symptoms cut in half. Furthermore, subjects received cannabis reported improved appetite and sleep with no significant side effect. The study is the first placebo-controlled clinical trial to access the consumption of cannabis for the treatment of Crohn's. Notes normal. So that's really cool. It could cause a complete remission of Crohn's disease, which sounds really horrible. Okay, we read that one. Tupperware. Go. This is the one I was on when it decided to crash. Marijuana legalization in 2015, as legal pot spreads normal, the nation's oldest marijuana advocacy group faces uncertainty. I think I can sound back on now. Oh, the sound is back on. How does it? Didn't I just mute the sound? Very interesting. As for Colorado, the funk of marijuana hung heavily in the air at Owl Farm, the remote mountainside compound where renegade journalist Hunter S. Thompson spent the last half of his life, sitting on tree stumps sprawled in the grass. Casually clad folks puffed on well-packed bowls and joints nearby. Let's just move on past the descriptive part. This isn't the 70s. All right, here we go. 2015, most of the marijuana being smoked was purchased legally from one of the 6 recreational marijuana shops in Aspen, and those attending the festival at Owl Farm were part of last weekend's normal Aspen legal seminar. But the anarchistic vibe of the party was telling, just as the Owl Farm gathering felt like it drove back to an earlier time, the National Organization for Reform of Marijuana Laws, the country's oldest and most famous cannabis advocacy group, is torn between past and future. It's clear we are not as much outlaws as we used to be, said Keith Stroke, the attorney who founded NORML 45 years ago. At the seminar, the 50 or so lawyers in attendance learned about the latest scientific research related to fighting driving while high charges, discussed the challenges of marijuana business paying federal taxes, and fretted about a new memo from Lloyd's of London and what it could mean for the future of cannabis insurance policies. Excuse me. As marijuana becomes normalized, these elder statesmen of marijuana advocacy are getting squeezed from both sides. For newer slicker and better funded marijuana advocacy groups, and from industry players looking to transform legalized cannabis from pipe dream to big business. Unless NORML can navigate the rapidly shifting cannabis landscape, its members could be working themselves out of a job. Anyway, it just goes on here to talk about how things have changed, and then illustrates this is how things have changed for NORML. It's no longer this renegade group. No moment at the NORML Aspen seminar held an off-season resort hotel in the foots of the ski slopes better illustrated how far marijuana advocacy had become than when Joe DeSalvo, the liberal sheriff of Pitkin County, in which Aspen is located, took to the podium to detail how his department is breaking all the cannabis rules. DeSalvo described an amnesty box he oversees at the Aspen-Pitkin County Airport, where visitors can discard their unused pot before heading on to private jets. The sheriff's deputies double as security escorts for marijuana workers making financial deliveries, since the lack of banking in the marijuana industry makes the high-cash business a target for theft. Next up, DeSalvo would like Aspen to take the lead in launching and regulating cannabis clubs, where folks would be able to partake of pot the way others go to bars to drink. "You're an awesome sheriff," an attendee yelled from the seat as DeSalvo garnered applause. But one subject that goes unmentioned is how most people don't associate the bold experiment that like this occurring in Colorado, the first place in the world to regulate marijuana, with NORML. They don't make that connection. For years, NORML was the only major operation fighting for marijuana legalization, borrowing from consumer advocacy efforts championed by Ralph Nader in the 1960s. In the meantime, other marijuana reform advocacy groups had begun to gain traction. In 2005, one of those groups, the Washington, D.C.-based Marijuana Policy Project, MPP, founded by former NORML staffer, tried a strategic approach in Colorado that no one had tried before. Up to that point, the marijuana movement had been focused on the harms of prohibition and not really focused on the harms of marijuana, said Mason Tevert, who spearheaded MPP's Colorado campaign, titled SAFER, short for Safer Alternative for Enjoyable Recreation. If we want to make it legal, we need more people to understand that it is not that harmful, and it is actually less harmful than alcohol. Tevert's safer than alcohol message proved instrumental with Colorado voters legalizing recreational marijuana in 2012, and now MPP has become the largest marijuana reform organization in the country in terms of funding and staff members. Most current initiatives to legalize medical or recreational marijuana around the country aren't spearheaded by NORML, but instead by MPP or another nonprofit, the New York City-based Drug Policy Alliance, both of which are characterized by slick media-savvy campaigns, well-oiled political machinery, and deep-pocket funders. I don't think there's a risk of NORML getting pushed on to the side, Dan Vetz, Secretary of NORML's Board of Directors, said as at the Aspen conference. There's a lot of new groups, but they have all spun out from NORML in one way or another. And what's also true is that all of these groups, none of them has the name recognition that NORML has. That's true. I won't read the whole article, but it sounds really interesting that NORML's having to, and that's what I was saying was the change is for everybody, including us stoners that have been hiding fighting for so long or doing this, as what do you call it, a scofflaw. Okay, I'm not going to read that version of it. There's a story about the DEA. The DEA wants to grow more synthetic. They want to create more synthetic marijuana, not real marijuana. It's not like they're giving buds to everybody. That's not how it works. New Jersey medical marijuana patient in danger of losing job. Colorado Supreme Court has decided that workers who use marijuana for medical reasons can be fired. Patients in New Jersey medical marijuana program are also at risk of losing their jobs. Ken Wolski, who leads the Coalition of Medical Marijuana in New Jersey, said Colorado's decision is consistent with court rulings in other states holding that medical marijuana use can be fired. A medical marijuana user can be fired for using the drug when they're off the job. That's not fair, said Wolski. The use of medical marijuana often allows people to function properly and to go out and be a productive member of society, Wolski said. Yet here, once you take the medicine that allows you to be a productive member of society, society is saying no. If you use the medicine, you're going to lose your job. You'll have to go back on welfare. Yeah. Assemblyman Reed Reed, also a municipal prosecutor, said it's rare for employers in New Jersey to fire a medical marijuana user, but it does happen. I think most employers would understand if somebody has cancer or AIDS or multiple sclerosis, that they would overlook now the fact that they are taking medical marijuana. He said no. It would just affect a minimum of people that are in security clearance jobs. No, because if they have a drug-free workplace, that means that they have to do that. They have like contracts with their insurance companies and stuff. It's just like you don't allow smoking and things like that. No, it's nice to dream that somehow your employer is going to be nice to you, but that's crazy talk right there. Okay, I'm going to read this because this is hilarious. This is out of Santa Barbara Independent. This is some crazy person who wrote this and got reamed in the comments a little. Marijuana in the city, Thursday, June 16, 2015. Concerning the so-called medical marijuana store, our city's planning commission just approved in the Ontaire Plaza, Ontaire, I don't know what the fuck. I go to snooty Santa Barbara, so the sale and description of marijuana is a federal crime, subject to property attachment jail. Property attachment jail and penalties. The sale, I think somebody just clipped this right out of something and pasted it in. The sale and distribution of the drug not approved by the FDA to be used for medical purposes is also a federal crime. The claimed medical problems can be resolved by FDA-approved drugs and by medical treatments. Yes, pills. Take them pills. This is a crazy person talking here. This is, I think, some kind of op-ed or something. Opinion letters. The nut person. Cuckoo, cuckoo. Does the city council consent to the city planning commission's actions? And if so, do the council members accept full liability as to illegality on behalf of the city and its citizens and taxpayers? Do the owners and tenants of Ontaire Center desire and accept liability respecting an illegal enterprise as a tenant? Or, does the city fully comprehend our present city's drug problem? And this is California. Santa Barbara is just right up the coast, like 40 miles, okay? And those guys are richy rich, very liberal, very artsy, and yet, look, this is a letter coming out from someone in Santa Barbara writing according to this newspaper, this is what we're still dealing with in California. There are still these people that are crazy, and they're just not going to listen to anybody. You know, in a union, they used to say, you can't convince everybody. And there are some people you're just never going to convince, and you just have to let them go. Sorry. You know, you can't be part of this. We want you to be part of this. We want you to step through this door with us, but we can't convince you of this, and we got to leave you behind. You know, and they think they've won a victory. No, you're alone. You know. All right. Comments. Has this guy been living under a rock the last few years? If not, I hope they move under one and stay there. What an authoritarian wacko. And then, of course, he goes on to, defend cannabis. Brian comes up with these weird, missive from time to time, and like the Thorns' occasional broadside, it just lets Loon howl a bit, but Loon is right. Let's see. Where's this guy's safety concerns and duty to community every time a bar or liquor store opens up, or a wine tasting place, or all those restaurants and alcohol places that are on State Street catering to all the college students from SB? Yeah. But the federal government says alcohol consumption is okay. Who'd run the country if we'd locked up all the drugs? What a loser. Imagine what kind of world we'd live in if we just accepted the federal government is always right about our rights. Yeah, so luckily lots of citizens came back and said that whoever wrote this letter is a crazy tard. But, I mean, Still, especially in this area, especially here in Bumpkinville of California, you're going to really, in Kentucky, you're going to run into some people that believe in contrails, that believe in Sasquatch. You know? They will buy anything. Indiana mayor comes out as gay in local paper. I thought that was wonderful. And especially in my own state of Indiana, where I was born. His announcement precedes an anticipated Supreme Court ruling on gay marriage. The mayor of South Bend, Indiana, publicly came out as gay on Tuesday in an editorial hoping that his openness would encourage others to follow suit. Pete Buttigieg, a 33-year-old Democrat and former Navy veteran who's serving a second term as mayor, opened up in South Bend Tribune about struggling to understand himself and emphasized that his sexuality has no bearing on his performance in any profession. Why would you have to ever explain that? I was well into adulthood before I was prepared to acknowledge the simple fact that I am gay. It took years of struggle and growth for me to recognize that it's just a fact of life. Like having brown hair and it's part of who I am, he wrote. It makes me no better or worse at handling a spreadsheet, a rifle, a committee meeting, or a hiring decision. That's very cool. Good for him. Who knows? I could be related to him. My family is from Indiana and Illinois and West Virginia and Florida and Canada and Australia and England. Let's see. Oh yes, bad fats will be phased out over the next 3 years in the United States. Bad fats. Trans fats is what they're talking about. Popular foods like pie crust, frosting, and microwave popcorn will largely be rid of arterial clogging trans fat after a decision by the Obama administration to phase them out over the next 3 years. The Food and Drug Administration on Tuesday ordered food companies to phase out artificial trans fats, calling them a threat to public health. Consumers aren't likely to notice much of a difference in their favorite foods, but the administration says the move will reduce coronary heart disease and prevent thousands of fatal heart attacks every year. Scientists say there are no health benefits to the fats, which are used in processing food in restaurants, usually to improve texture, shelf life, or flavor. They can raise levels of bad cholesterol and lower good cholesterol, increase the risk of heart disease, and the leading cause of death in the United States. The fats are created when hydrogen is added to vegetable oil to make it more solid, which is why they are often called partially hydrogenated oils. Only a staple of the American diet. Once a staple of the American diet used in shortening and microwave popcorn, most artificial trans fats are already gone. The FDA says that between 2003 and 2012, people ate about 78% less trans fats as food companies began using other kinds of oils to replace them. Well, that's good news. I'm not going to read all that either. But that's good that they're getting rid of the trans fats. And hopefully, no, we probably won't notice. I haven't noticed that they've taken it out yet. Now, used to me, up through the music that I was listening to before I went to bed. The real welfare queens are drug testing companies. East Bay Express. The real welfare queens are drug testing companies. Drug testing companies are ripping off Americans for hundreds of millions of dollars in expenses, unnecessary urine screenings, and yet another unintended cost of the war on drugs. Millennium Health LLC in the conservative small government bastion of San Diego is now facing about $250 million fines for overcharging Medicare for drug testing, reports indicate. Millennium was charged $1,000 per drug test for seniors on pain medications instead of the usual $175, as the company screened septuagenarians, the exotic youth club drugs like MDMA and what? The company screened these old people for MDMA and ketamine because they're out partying, man, and raving. Woo! I told you, these guys, that's a nice cushy little job, man, being a P officer. That's a cushy little job right there. Millennium isn't one bad apple either. Nationally, Medicare pays out for drug testing soared 2,000% over 6 years to $612 million in 2013. An extensive Wall Street Journal investigation has found. Prescribed opioids, then tested for abuse on the addictive painkiller, has turned into a cash cow for pain clinics. Dale Gingrich, director of California NORML, notes that the federal war on marijuana plays a prominent role in the scam. The definition of painkiller abuse can include taking legal, safe, doctor-recommended botanical cannabis. What an outrageous misuse of Medicare funds, stated Gingrich. Uncle Sam is actually subsidizing drug testing companies to test for drugs like marijuana that have nothing to do with opiate abuse. Drug testing companies are guilty of malpractice in promoting testing for marijuana in chronic pain patients. Many patients can drastically reduce their dependence on opiates by substituting marijuana instead. Yet the same patients are being wrongfully tested and forced to give up marijuana by pain clinics. No wonder the U.S. is suffering an epidemic of opiate abuse. Medicare subsidies are encouraging unnecessary drug tests. Oh yeah, every job you have to apply for now, everywhere on earth. Whether, you're doing something that's really, a security thing or dangerous, or you're responsible for other lives, or you're just flipping hamburgers someplace or selling junk at Lowe's. The urine test at Lowe's. What? So you could sell lumber? That's the stupidest junk in the whole world. What the hell do they need to test at Lowe's for? It's because it's a big scam. It's a big scam. I really, after watching the urine testing for 9 years go on, I just thought to myself, this is a big scam. Look at these guys. They just are sauntering in, taking their time. Looks like a cushy job. You can tell all their behinds are a little bit rounded from sitting in the car. Drug testing. No one has a right to invade anyone's body in that way, period. Not unless you suspect them of a crime and you have a really, strong evidence that they did something. But testing people's pee or hair or something like that, that is just, I don't even know how constitutionally that was allowed. Tommy Chong, half of Cheech and Chong, diagnosed with rectal cancer. Which is like, what again? Oh no, Tommy Chong, the Chong part of legendary stoner comedy duo Cheech and Chong, has revealed that he's battling cancer again. I think is what it means. This time, the Dave's Not Here comic has rectal cancer. That's not funny. He had rectal cancer before. No, not Tommy Chong, the 77-year-old comedian of half of Cheech and Chong, announced that he's been diagnosed with cancer for the second time. Tommy, along with partner Cheech Marin, 68, made audiences crack up with his comedy records and movies. See, this June 17th. But he was battling cancer before because he was putting marijuana liquid pills in his bunghole and it would dissolve, and that's how he said he fought the cancer. He already discussed that on Doug Gets High. So why are we acting like this is news? Is this a second time? Tommy divulged this condition in June 16th interview with U.S. Weekly while attending the 826 LA 10th anniversary party in Santa Monica. Tommy said that, I've had some medical issues lately. I got diagnosed with rectal cancer. That's horrible. This is the second round of cancer for Tommy, who previously battled prostate cancer in 2012. Okay, so maybe that's what he was using the marijuana for. This is so sad. Thankfully, Tommy is keeping a positive attitude about the experience. Thanks to the help of my little green friend, I'm using cannabis like crazy now. More than ever before. I'm in treatment now. I've been just the case either way. Either I get healed or I don't. But either way, I'm going to make sure that I get a little edge off or put up. Okay. It's no surprise that Tommy's an advocate of medical marijuana. He along with Cheech Marin, became the most famous stoner comedians in history. Okay, we don't need to dip into that. Tommy Chong, a life full of laughter and lighting up. Now, as far as I know, that's what he's been battling this with. And then he stopped for a while with Dancing with the Stars. And that kind of always worries me when patients stop using the medication to prove a point that they don't need it, that, they don't need to get high to prove to the straights, that they're okay. Because in my opinion, you're endangering yourself to prove something to people that are morons and don't deserve the respect that would garner. Seriously. They don't deserve that respect. If they don't believe you, that's their problem. Let them wander around in the dark, stupid and blind. You know, we're busy. We gotta save our lives. If they want to go and use pharmaceuticals and die, that's their deal. Lower marijuana sales tax may bolster sales in Oregon. As you know, marijuana tax in Colorado was dropped a tiny bit, like a tax break day or whatever, and that helped a lot of people and made a lot more sales happen. Vancouver marijuana shop sales have been bolstered by Oregonians illegally going across the Columbia River and taking marijuana home. That trend could reverse once legal marijuana sales in Oregon begin. Oregon's legislature will likely set a marijuana sale tax at 17 to 20%, which is approximately half of Washington's. Brilliant. That is brilliant. So in other words, Oregon's going to provide Washington's weed because Washington stupidly... Oh, that's interesting. I do love watching this stuff happen, especially when places like Washington go and pwn themselves. That's so interesting. Amy Graff, owner of Vancouver six-pot shop Greenhead Cannabis, hopes her customers stay close to home. In Vancouver, we have a lot of people here, Graff said. I think they will want to stay here. And economist with the state of Oregon is looking into exactly how much tax Oregon would get from people coming over the Columbia River for lower taxed marijuana, reversing the trend of months past. Main Street Marijuana in Vancouver is Washington's top-selling pot shop, with a large chunk of its customer base coming from Oregon. Buying marijuana in Washington is legal for everyone 21 and over, but bringing it across the state lines is illegal. People bringing back weed from Washington to Oregon will still be breaking the law even after marijuana becomes legal in Oregon on July 1st. Yeah, but I mean, that's commerce, that's a market. You know, our government can only hold on to the market for dear life, can't stop it most of the time. Okay. I can't believe I'm getting through this and it didn't crash. 9:30. It's not 11 o'clock. I'm doing okay. Uh-oh. I fear there's going to be a video here. That's it wants to pop up some sort of annoying sounds. I'll be aware of it. Oh, yes, because this is a video. That's right. Okay, this is where I'm going to attempt to... I forgot about this one. This is where I'm going to attempt to actually play this video and see if the settings works. Okay, so far I hate it.
Judge is now dented in Fresno County's attempt to...
Okay, the first thing is your sound is so horribly loud. Is there a way to
control cultivation of marijuana?
Can I please control the sound?
Christine Park, Action News reporter Corn Harvard shows us the $100,000 decision to cost the county even more down the road.
The Fresno County Sheriff's deputies shot down marijuana plants on a property. There are criminal consequences. And beginning last year, each destroyed plant made a $1,000 fine for the property owner. But in a new ruling, a Fresno County judge said $199,000 fine should not stick.
It applies to this case, but I think that ruling is precedent for...
Okay, so that's all you need to hear, is that a Fresno County judge has basically set back their fine system. Fighting marijuana fines may be working. A judge has now dented Fresno County's attempt to control cultivation of marijuana. And of course, it didn't play well, so I'll put a link down below as usual. But that's kind of like, wow. See, we're being able to actually fight back and not just take it. Oh, yes, this one. This is the one that's actually about what the DEA said about marijuana. And all the stories make it sound like, oh, they want more buds. And that's not what going on. This is just a real brief statement. It pretty much summarizes the story. Fake marijuana. The Drug Enforcement Administration, the DEA, is issuing new production quotas for 3 types of synthetic cannabinoids that mirror the effects of marijuana. The production quotas allow for the scientific use of the study of these synthetic drugs. The rules go into effect immediately. What's really weird is we have like a spice epidemic going on where some people in China take basically, wood pulp and junk and spray it with synthetic marijuana. Isn't that what it's called? Synthetic marijuana. And yet the Drug Enforcement Agency wants the production quotas to increase for synthetic marijuana. Isn't that really weird? And nobody has put those two things together. That the pills, the Sativex and all that stuff, that's synthetic marijuana. And so is spice. So is K2. Both of those things, are they the same? Because I wouldn't give anybody synthetic marijuana. It's killing people. It's driving them insane. I wouldn't give my worst enemy synthetic marijuana. And I've seen what it does to kids when they smoke it. Their eyes get all weird. They look like they have the worst headache they've ever experienced in their life. They just have this look like, and they got these dark lines under their eyes. They don't look good. So I just wanted to point that out. Every time you hear somebody say, "Oh, but there are pharmaceutical alternatives to marijuana," yes, and they're probably dangerous. The point is that if you see it shoved into a pill, I don't have a pill here to show you. If it's shoved into a pill, then that works for our government. That works for our manufacturing sector, because that's jobs and that's testing and that's everybody gets a piece of the pie, everybody gets a piece of the action. But if it grows out of the ground, then God has pwned all these crooks and they don't know what to do and they're angry as hell. They are. No, we got to take something that's natural and now make it synthetic in order to make it work in our society, because this is how our crazy society is. Everything has to go through a lab coat dude. Everything's got to have a whole bunch of extra stuff attached to it, and in my opinion, actually makes it like less effective. In order for it to be marketable, in order for it to be something that investors can invest in, because investors I can't invest in a plant. I don't understand. There's a limit to this market thing. And here it is. It's called the natural world. And we keep going in and trying to make the natural world what we want it to be, but it just ain't going to happen that way, I mean, if you want to keep banging your head against a rock, go ahead, but... I mean, I find all the prohibitionists to be bizarre people. On one hand, they believe in God. Everything on earth is here for us to enjoy, except that one. Get rid of it. I want a pill. God said that if I'm going to be cured, it's either Jesus or a pill. Made by a pharmaceutical company. I mean, that's crazy. It's just, they're insane. They're just insane. There's so many little nuanced things, like when they say CBD, the non-psychoactive part of the drug. In other words, it won't get you high, so don't worry. You can still drink on the weekends. There you go, Lush. Don't you worry, man. You ain't gonna have to worry about that stone feeling. You'll be okay to go party at that football party this weekend. Watching your football game with your buddies and drinking. Don't worry, man. That marijuana ain't gonna disturb none of that. Crazy people. I mean, they're crazy people. Their thoughts are tangled. Their logic is tangled, is the best way to describe it. Yes! I got through another one. It's still going. I'm so happy. Okay. So, I'm going to try to save my last bowl here for tomorrow and not be bankrupt. But I could be bankrupt tomorrow. We'll have to see. See what I can do about that, you know. I went through my buds pretty quick. They were so lovely, and I had so many people that I wanted to share with. Family. And they do not have the access that I have as a patient. You know. It's weird. It's like you become like this, I don't know, Buddhist priest of marijuana when you're a patient. You're the expert. You're the one on high on the mountain. Come to me and ask me the questions, you know. Ask me your questions 3, you know, or whatever it is. Because so few people have experience with it. It's awkward and it's not natural. There should be lots of people with far more experience than me talking about anything or sharing anything. And these guys should be able to go and you know, purchase their own for their week. You know what I mean? Hopefully 2016 will fix all that. We'll have to see. We're hoping. I believe it's going to happen. I think everything's gearing up that, you know, we're definitely going to legalize here. My concern, of course, is, you know, are they going to let us grow? And what are the taxes going to be like? And am I going to have to live in some crazy burg like this one, you know, where people just aren't too sure about the marijuana, but we have bars all over the place. I mean, there's this town near me, Oakview, and there's like 3 bars, and you could, if you blinked, you drive through Oakview, you'd be gone. It's like 3 bars, 3 restaurants with bars. This is the craziest place to live ever. I don't mind the drinking, but the fact that the drinkers are sitting there with their cigarettes and they're drinking, telling me how to live, it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's shut down. Where'd it go? She's gone. Okay, so thank you for joining me for this episode of Wait and Make News. And I'm going to sit here and finish my vegetarian burrito and hopefully upload this thing and everything will work. So you stay high and goodbye.